Welcome to the January 2nd, 2024 regular city council meeting. Would you please all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get into our agenda, hello. I would like to say welcome to our new council. We have number 1, Sandy Clements, Ward 1. You have met Dottie. She's on Ward 2. She joined us in November. Ward 3 is Adam Morris. Ward 4, Dick DeWater. And welcome back again, Justin, in at large, as he starts his the remainder of his term, 2 years. Could we get a roll call, please?
Weir.
Here.
Smock.
Here.
Clements.
Here.
DeWater.
Here.
Morris.
Here.
Before we approve the agenda, I would like to make a slight amendment to the agenda. We are going to move the mayor-council report above item 15, so it can be before we go into executive session. Also, on item 14, resolution 6783 is to reflect a cost share of $10,000 instead of $7,500. May I please have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 5 is public discussion. Anyone from the public at this time can come up to the podium. Please state your name and your address for the record.
Hi, my name is Steve Oringer. I live at 217 Heather Avenue, and I use this cardboard recycling quite a little. And I was just wondering, the other day I came down there and there was a whole bunch of 5-gallon pails and other garbage around there. And I don't know if we could post a sign that says, cardboard only. I mean, you should know that. But if there would be some type of a fine for that, or if we had a camera, even a fake camera, just to say, hey, we're gonna get you, because before, when we had the other company that was doing that, those cardboard bins, there was all kinds of stuff in those, and they were all over the ground, and it was everywhere.
Yeah.
So I guess I just don't wanna lose that. because
Right, yeah.
I use that quite a little. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just all my concerns, so.
I totally understand. Thank you for letting us know that.
Yeah, I mean, they just kind of bring, it hasn't been a big problem, but there was like 5 or 6 5-gallon pails and some other stuff around there. And I don't know if it had stuff in it, I didn't look, but there was really nowhere to throw it or anything, because you can't get it through the slots.
Right.
The bin wasn't there today when I,
When they go to empty it, they have to
Oh,
take it
they-
to Cedar Falls, so it's about an hour before it
yeah,
comes back.
I don't
There
drop
is,
one and take it.
yeah. And sometimes when it's been used a lot, they do that twice a week, believe it or not, yeah. So, yeah, we will check into that. Anyone else this evening?
My name is Jerry Harms. I live on 213 Heather, and I'm here to talk about the fires. There was a lot of people in town who have allergies and got on oxygen, and I went out to give you all your names, and I like to see that banned for not having open fires, because I like to be outdoors, don't have to smell the smoke, because it burns your eyes. And like I said, my wife's got allergies, and I like to see that's taken care of. Thank you.
No, thank you, Jerry. I appreciate the time that you took to go out. Jerry actually went out and got through, between Christmas and New Year's, got 112 signatures as a petition to, extract that from our code, that you're not allowed to do the open burning, and it would be restricted just to recreational fires. So that is later on the agenda that we'll be discussing.
And then another thing, people burning big pallets and all this stuff in it. I know a guy's burning furniture and putting copper in it to take, and that's necessary. You don't have to do that.
Right.
That's health on everybody, thank you.
Yes. And just a note to that as well, if you see someone that isn't burning what is allowed at this time, you can call dispatch and alert the fire department to that, because they may receive a fine. It may be a first-time warning, but they could also receive a fine, especially if they're habitual violators. So that's the only way we can alert the city to let them know what's going on. Anyone else this evening? Okay, we'll move on to item 6, which is approval of the consent agenda. I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 17 is appointments of city officials. I'll run through those briefly, and we will vote on at one time. Mayor Pro Tem Justin Smock, Misty Marin, City Clerk, Holly Corkery, City Attorney, Insurance Committee, Morris and Dewater, Investments, Clements and Morris, Personnel, Smock and Weir.
I move passage of the city official appointments.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Boards and commissions, we can do it, I'll take your favor if you want to do it all as one, or do you prefer just to do each board and commission individually?
I say all together.
I have no issue with any of those being recommended.
I'll agree to all at once.
So boards and commission, we have Hardship and Grievance Commission, Justin Smock, 2 of them has to be council, and Dottie Weir. Municipal Housing Authority, Craig White and John Martis. Stormwater Commission, Bill Brandenburg and Jerry McIndonsky. Planning and Zoning Commission, Jeff Bergman. Library Board, Paul Penning. Hardship and Grievance Commission, Christy Osborne. And I'll take a motion to approve the appointments to the boards and commissions.
I'd move to approve the appointments.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Excellent. Number 9 is approval of the resolution calendar. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Weir,
Yes.
Smock,
Yes.
Clemens,
Yes.
Dewater,
Yes.
and Morris.
Yes.
Okay, number 10 is council to consider dissolving open burning within the city limits of the city of Evansdale.
The first thing that comes to my mind, I guess, is enforcement. I mean, you can say something's illegal, but people are still gonna do it. So I wonder how much we're gonna be chasing fires, literally. So I'm not necessarily opposed to it. It's just, what good will it do? The responsible people are already being responsible, and not burning, massive amounts of leaves at one time or on windy days or things like that. So I just wonder how much, and, a ban would do good, but at the same time, well, people will stop after a certain amount of time of being fined, so.
Right.
Great segue, Adam.
Yeah.
So, emailed out just earlier, it did not, I apologize I didn't get it to you beforehand, but I talked with Chief Phillips from the Fire Department, had him contact dispatch and pull calls for service over the last 3 years. So this is gonna be December of 20 to December of 23. There is a classification of a call type when it's dispatched to either fire or police, and burning complaint is one of those types. With that criteria, we had 48 calls for service over those 3 years. So not a ton, but just to give background of enforcement or tied up of resources, and that includes sometimes law enforcement who will graciously show up, maybe remind or notify someone of a burning ordinance, and fire does not have to respond, or at times it also involves the fire department. And depending on the size of the fire, some of them can take a lot of resources. Again, a burn ban wouldn't have stopped this, but we had one down alongside the river in a bunch of timber that we went back to 6, 7 times. I know Cheyenne graciously came down, Chris, in the middle of the night with the front end loader that took us to get to. So those are all in here. That was emailed to you. Out of the 48, I estimate about 25 of those are probably something that would be addressed with the open burning. That would be more of the leaves, the small brush, the grass clippings. Some of these in here are just straight illegal burns. Jerry brought up furniture, tires, things that are just, those are already illegal. So to show, to Adam's point, they're already illegal, you can't do it. We show up, either notify them or issue a citation. But just to kind of give you an idea of what has been called in, 48 over those 3 years, about half is what would be legal now, but made illegal if we were to change the ordinance.
Were they, I don't suppose you know the type of fire, but it wasn't probably just simply leaves.
So and they do have some detail in some of these and some don't, so it all just depends
I
on what
didn't see
dispatch
that,
said it.
but-
Yep, nope, I'm happy to share just to browse through. Highlighted in green is what I estimate is probably what a burn ban or what those would not, grass clippings, leaves, or garbage fires. So that's the other thing that's kind of questionable, that we don't show up, it's not black smoke, but you dump, kitchen trash and papers and stuff outside, so it's trash, but, okay, that one's questionable. A lot of them are what, of those 25, I would say probably, in my professional opinion, what Jerry states, that it is a neighbor that calls it in because it's wet grass that's been smoking. And I mean, we've all seen the town when we go through a burn ban and then the next day we get a really good rain and then the town is just nothing but a big cloud of smoke because everybody's out burning again and it just keeps it low to the ground. So luckily, we don't have a ton of EMS calls. I'm sure there might be a few sprinkled in, but if those with health conditions and things that have had to call because of the smoke or anything, luckily, newer age construction does a decent job keeping it out. You can still smell it some, but I can tell you again from experience out, when it is truly a neighbor versus neighbor situation, that it's called in, the argument we get is, well, it's nice out, I have every right to have my windows open, but now I have to smell their smoke. You're right, I mean, neither individual in that case is wrong. It's one of those that we just simply try to let the neighbors know, can we try and be good neighbors? Is there a way that you can burn when they don't have their windows open, or can you work up a day or whatever? So, for the most part, it doesn't cause any further conflict, at least to our regards. I can't speak for the police department if any domestics or anything come back off of it again, I hope not. But, I could tell you just, once I'm off my soapbox here, I'm torn, and this one truly would have to go to the city, to the public. I really can't say one way or the other that I would have to move to our constituents to say, okay, time to voice your opinion. And I would back those that would have the greater number, because I truly think you're gonna have some for it, and you're gonna have some against it.
Well, I don't think it would be necessarily a topic of contention if people burned responsibly. But when you throw a bunch of wet leaves on the pile and then leave it for days, in my neighborhood, it's just ridiculous. And it just hangs there. And I look around and I see people who don't even care that their neighbors are getting all that smoke. And I just suggested our newsletter say something about responsible burning, but I don't know that people get that. So I'm certainly open to discussing a ban.
And I guess I will add one more and then cede my time to others that won't cut you off, but one benefit we do have as a city is the brush dump. So that
Yes.
is the one thing that at least I would like to
Yeah.
make sure if we do look at changing the ordinance, and I know we're not doing it tonight, but as we get feedback and things in, I would want to keep the brush dump there. So, okay, let's give them an outlet. You can't burn. We're telling you can't do it. So what do I do with it? I'm not going to compost it. I'm not going to mulch it. What do I do with it? I would say the brush dump still be that outlet for them.
Sure.
So,
Do you have any thoughts as to how we would go about canvassing the citizens?
Well, I mean, we put it on Facebook and probably maybe even do maybe a survey. I think we can come up with something like that. I mean, you're not going to get everybody again. Unfortunately, the people that aren't on the Facebook are probably the ones that are elderly and can't respond, and their opinion's going to matter. So I don't know how,
How do you reach those people?
right? Or this has just been brought to our attention, the significance of it. And, we're not gonna have to worry about it until spring. So is it something we could put in our newsletter and have people get back to us that way? Because everybody gets a newsletter.
Sure.
So they read it, I'm not certain, but everyone gets one.
And we can reach out,
Yeah.
to people on our own.
yeah, I don't foresee this being something that we're acting on in the next month, two even, type of thing, just because it's gonna be, I don't wanna say hot button, but it's gonna be a popular topic that you're
Yep.
gonna have a lot that are for and wanna keep it, and you're gonna have some that, Jerry here did great work of his own free time
Yeah,
to go out and get his voice and his neighbor's voices heard.
yeah,
Yep. Oh, and I think for sure it definitely
Yeah.
established the point, 100 signatures. It's one thing to fill out one page to bring it to our attention. It's another to, clear 100 just in less than a week. And from various parts of town. I will also
I
say
saw
that was the
that.
other thing I was looking, that
Yeah.
it wasn't just around Jerry's neighborhood. It
Yeah,
wasn't
it's
just up
all
in this
over.
ward. He has got a decent canvas of other areas, so.
Do you think you could get us maybe a model ordinance, so,
yes,
from Waterloo?
yeah,
They-
Waterloo and Cedar
They had a
Falls.
very contentious debate years ago.
Yeah, yeah,
And I will note, to your point, Adam, as far as enforcement and stuff, being on the fire side and having access to that radio traffic, especially during the fall when people are having campfires and stuff, Waterloo Fire gets paged all the time. And it turns out to be a recreational fire. Perfectly legal, but it's a neighbor complaining about the smoke. So an open burning ban will absolutely not eliminate the calls for service. Especially, once it quiets down, we'll still have some, just like fireworks.
Yeah, exactly.
And there'll be a learning curve.
Yep. Just like fireworks, that first year is gonna be really rough.
Well, I have been on both sides of the idea. I, for years and years, burned leaves, thought it was kind of cool. Then I guess I got older and wiser, and became aware of a neighbor that did have health issues, that it was affecting them. So at that point, we stopped burning leaves and hauled them down to the yard waste site. My concern, I guess, with the yard waste site is if we pass this and now all the leaves that used to get burned are going down to the yard waste site, especially in the fall when you're dealing with a shorter crunch time, the leaves are falling, people want to get them taken care of before snow. Are we able to keep up with the higher demand at that time of the year down at the yard waste site?
Will that be a problem, Chris?
No, we push up every morning now, we could push up before we went home, if it got to that point.
No, it's just everybody on the southwest corner of the city just gets smoked out, so, yeah.
The biggest fire we have in town is them burning the leaves up.
That's,
What do you do about that?
that is true.
but
It's gotta go
we
somewhere,
actually, we actually do not burn leaves. We only burn the wood. They burn the brush. They have to, because we don't have anywhere else to put it.
No, I mean, I'm not complaining
Yeah.
about burning it, but that is a big
But
fire
even
down
as
there.
even as a city, we can, wait until day that the air is just right, that we could do that as well, hopefully. I don't know, Chris, if even that's feasible.
There's really nothing
These
perfect,
are-
because even the days that are just right are the days that everybody wants to open their windows. So
That
you're
that
never
it's
gonna
not
make everybody
coming
happy
into
with
town.
it. But
Because it's
Yeah.
more out in the field now. I'm going to need you guys to come up to the podium, or stand up, please.
My name's Doug Thorne, live 125 Heather Avenue. With yours, you asked about, are we able to keep up with the leaves? I go down there quite often. I clean up my neighbor's place, and I go down there, sometimes I go down there twice a week. I see outside contractors dumping their crap down there. Why? Why am I doing their business for them? They hire out to somebody else. That's the people that have to pay for that. I shouldn't have to pay for it, or anybody else in here. That shouldn't be for outside contractors. You know, we got some in town, and we got a lot of out-of-towners coming in there. I watch them come off the highway.
Yep.
And, if we are gonna do this, which I'm in favor of, I don't think we should be compensating them because they're putting that money in their pocket because they're not charging somebody else. Or
Right.
maybe they are charging somebody else and still putting the money in their pocket.
Right.
And I understand everybody tries to do the best they can for business. I'm just saying you can't expect the rest of your community to support an outside community because they aren't supporting us.
Right.
I've been through the fire thing. I've had my place burnt, everything else by neighbors. And nothing's been done. Yeah, we're looking at it. I've been told by the council, we have laws in the books. It doesn't matter what law you put on here right now today. If you can't enforce them or won't enforce them, we're wasting our time. And I don't want to be up here wasting my time. I thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. And there's also two sides to that, Mr. Thorne. If they are taking care of a resident's lawn or trees, we do allow them to use our yard waste center to dispose of them. But right now, since we just moved the yard waste center, we don't have a security system yet, but we will. I mean, that's something that we'll address this, we'll probably address this next budget, or maybe sooner, because we were actually allowed to prosecute 2 different people that were bringing down yard waste that were not from this community, and they were not working in this community. So in normal circumstances, we are on top of that, so. But thanks for letting us know, and when you do call in and let us know.
And I understand that, and even if they're working, if I hire somebody to come in and work at my house, he can't dump stuff down. You know, they
We-
charge me for a dumping charge.
Well,
To have something
yeah.
done, whether they're from this town or not. So I'm still compensating him, and he's expecting you to take care of the compensation that I'm paying him. If you're gonna let contractors dump, if you're gonna let one dump, you're gonna have them all dump. That's just the way it works. Yeah, I was working over to this house, and I got this stuff here, and that's why it's here. I think they're leaving a lot of loopholes there to be used.
Hi.
Nancy Higgins, 134 Heather Avenue. I just wanted to express my support of a ban on burning. I respect the different opinions that have been expressed here as far as if it's going to be a stress on enforcing it, I get that. And no matter what, good or bad, right or wrong, There are always people that are going to break the rules. That's plain and simple. But the bottom line is, our air quality should be the highest priority of this town. Air quality for even the healthy people, let alone the people that are compromised breathing situations. And for the pleasure of being able to open our windows. That's a minor thing compared to health issues and our surrounding communities. Not that what's right for one is right for us, but I do fully believe that Waterloo and Cedar Falls are doing the right thing. And as far as Cedar Falls has a place where you can take your leaves and they have pickup and all. They have an option for not allowing burning. We have an option for people as well. They have a place to take them. I know it might be inconvenient, but there's a lot of things that might be inconvenient. But I think air quality, it should be probably the top reason for the burning ban. So, thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else, council? Any other thoughts?
No, I think it's a good discussion and something to be open to later down the
Yeah.
road.
Well, I will get some, for our next agenda, I will get some sample ordinances, maybe reach out to some other cities, just to see what they did with it, how they handled the enforcement of, ensuring that people were not burning leaves and burning, I think for myself personally, when I first moved here, I found that strange that people were burning anyway in a residential area. But then when you smell toxic stuff, and I didn't know I could call and get, I didn't know I could call somebody and say, hey, people are burning toxic stuff in the backyard, you know what I'm saying, in their backyards, because you don't really see it. And I think since I've been here, the air quality in the spring and the fall, it's disgusting. It really is. You can't have your windows open when it's the most beautiful days that we have in Iowa. So that's my personal opinion. Moving on.
I'm sorry, Mayor, just real quick, because I think some of the ideas brought up, obviously, social media is going to appeal to a certain generation or those that
Yeah.
said, but I do agree it's not going to cover
Yeah.
the only stop, the newsletter. When's that next coming out?
We're going to try to get that out beginning of March.
Okay.
So you're just looking at a couple months.
Yeah, and I think that's great too, of just trying to get it out, to do everything that I feel we can to at least let the public know so that they can voice their opinion, and those that voice, obviously the ones here tonight are against it, and if the vote were held tonight, I would vote, that yes, there would need to be a change. But I also want to make sure that, I know there are plenty in favor, so I just want to make sure that we open it up and notify, and after that, if they didn't show up,
Yeah.
it's no different than voting in an election. You didn't show up to vote, you have no say. So,
Yep.
but, yeah, I think that would be a great idea to put in there as well.
Yes. Okay, number 11, request to enter into an agreement with Bolton and Mink for the preliminary plans, final plans, and construction observation in the amount of $381,000 for the Eagles Landing Phase 2 project. One of the reasons this is on, we're moving forward with a couple big organizations that are coming out to Eagles Landing. And they want to ensure that we're going to do our part. And for our part, for the one organization, is to finish Phase 2, which is the east-west roadway just beyond McDonald's. So if you're just going to go straight into the development, and that's going to hook onto Birdland, which is north-south. So this is a requirement. We're just showing good faith that we are moving ahead with that. And of course, if we need to have it done by December of '24, we better get going.
I make a motion to approve that agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 12 is a request to continue agreement with Chris Fischels with Fischels Commercial Group through December 31st, 2024.
I make a motion that we continue that contract.
I'll second.
There were no changes or anything into his terms or commissions or anything? Okay.
No changes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 13, council to consider minute-taking guidelines recommended by the State of Iowa Code 21.3, meetings of governmental bodies. I will have our city clerk speak on this. My initial thoughts to this is we're spending a lot of money on publishing meetings, publishing meeting minutes. We can condense those. Iowa Code only has the item that the voted on, who motioned, who seconded the motion, and who was in favor of the motion, and who was not in favor of the motion, or a roll call. We spend anywhere, and it's creeping up as we go along, anywhere from $210 to $250 every meeting on minutes and publishing our minutes. So we have a video now, and if the video's not available, we have audio of the meeting. So that, we can fall back on that if you really want to know what everybody said that was at the meeting and what took place. If you want to talk about what you experienced with the.
Yeah, so just at the conference that I went to in October, we had a speaker who was highly suggesting we get back to the basics with it. She stated that, oh, you can't hear me, sorry. She stated that we should get back to the basics with it, and that it should never be a dictation. It's the biggest complaint they get with cities so far, every year. So, she said misquoting somebody can lead the city into some pretty big waters, so she strongly recommended.
So this is
getting back
basically
to-
just moving to a summary as opposed to a word,
Because we
word
have the
for word
audio, we have the
summation.
video.
Okay.
That's documentation.
If there was anything that was of historical value that needed to be, because we keep the minutes for eternity in the city, if it was something of historical value, like we were, the planning that we were doing for our wastewater treatment plant, the planning we are doing for Lafayette Road, basically showing the outcome of how the city was moving forward, we would put that in the minutes. But you're here to hear motions and, on each item. Again, audio and video are available, for anyone who would like to listen to that.
I don't know, I can see making the motion, I'm all in favor of streamlining it, especially the he said, she said. I assume that's kind of what you're getting at.
Right.
But as far as who made the motion, I don't know, is it relevant? It seemed like it could be,
That's actually required by the state.
yeah,
The code 21.3.
yeah.
Who made the motion, who seconded it?
And included in the published minutes.
Yes.
You're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
And still published in the Courier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That is required.
Yeah, I guess I would say if you can streamline the process and spend less time on typing out every word, then, yeah.
Is that a motion?
And I would say just as, I don't know how you necessarily word it or anything, for those that are concerned, because we do have audio, video, that's great. We've had issues with that in the past. New system, hopefully that has been addressed, but I also want to address to any of the public as well that what happens, if that happens again? Well, I would say at that point, we could make the executive decision to fully publish the minutes because we know pretty quick whether or not it recorded or not.
Yeah.
And then in that instance, I would still like to say the city, yes, okay, it's more expensive, but, okay, we something with the AV system failed. Let's go ahead and publish everything we can in short of the he said, she said, because I do agree, everybody likes to sue everybody today. So if we can just put facts down, that's great.
Yeah.
I would say with what he said, also, I would move to adopt that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Number 14, Resolution 6783 as amended, approving participation in Northeast Industrial Access NEPA study and authorize the mayor to sign said agreement. As I stated earlier, there wasn't even a typo. I just misread the line that Evansdale was on in the graph that they had given us. But it's actually, our portion would be 10,000, and that would be from FY '24 clear through FY '27. We've participated in the initial study, and for those who don't know what this is, Northeast Industrial Access would be to, instead of people coming in from 380, say to Evansdale Plaza, instead of going up Evansdale Drive in Plaza, which they still would actually, instead of going down Dubuque Road and going up Elk Run to go to Tyson, to go to John Deere, et cetera, there would be a new access to that location. So it may come in at like Martin Luther King. Did anyone want to see this?
With the
Yes, please.
You did.
potential bridge that would
Yeah.
help the semi-traffic at the lights and the long lights that are there set in. To kind of help avoid that whole piece, because if you get a few of the semis there.
So
And-
this is the feasibility study.
We did a feasibility study already. That was about a five-year-long study. And this is something that is going to be equally as long. It's going to be probably about 3 to 4 years. However, that being said, this isn't something that we're going to jump into right away. This is looking at transportation planning needs for 2050.
And Mayor, I believe it was to note as well, and please correct me if I misunderstood you, but this $10,000 commitment for our portion of it. Obviously, Waterloo would be involved heavily with Blackhawk County.
Yes.
We have a very small portion,
Yeah.
but without us, they can't do any of it. So we do have, be a good neighbor, plus it would help some of our traffic and road and whatnot there. But the $10,000 is budgeted over 3 fiscal years, is
It's
that
going to be
correct?
budgeted over 4.
Over 4.
Yeah, 24, 25, 26, and
So
27.
from a budget constraint
Yeah.
piece, it's not an all upfront $10,000. We'd be able to break it out to kind of help lessen the impact as well.
Well, and as you say, help us with our traffic situation. Anything we can do to relieve pressure on Evansdale Drive has got to be a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, and Dubuque Road is deteriorating all the time too. I mean,
Right.
It's just constantly in disrepair, so,
Semis are hard on it.
yeah.
And Elk Run, I mean, the county just overlaid Elk Run, I think it was, 3 summers ago? But, that was a huge project for them, and, they're seeing the wear and tear that they're getting on the roadways every day, so. Okay,
I would move to approve Resolution 6783 as stated.
Second,
and that's a roll call, please.
Weir,
Yes.
Smock,
Yes.
Clements,
Yes.
DeWater,
Yes.
and Morris.
yes.
Okay. And as stated, before we approve the agenda, we are going to move the mayor-council reports up to before the executive session. The executive session is a closed session. You're more than welcome to come back after that. I don't believe it'll take more than probably 15 minutes. But right now, mayor-council reports. I guess the only thing I can state is we're working with department heads to get some budget numbers down on the page for you all to review. Hopefully, we can have something out to you before our next meeting, just so you could start reviewing, seeing if you have any questions regarding budget items for FY ¡25. But that's all. I don't have any more.
Did you say we're doing our reports before we go into closed session?
Yeah, we're doing that right now.
I had a couple items I hope we would bring up for discussion in the upcoming minutes meeting. One of them is a lot on Bright Street.
Okay,
I'd like to see that on the agenda for auction.
okay,
Right now, it's for sale for $10,000. It's unbuildable.
Right.
It's ridiculous. I'd like to see a better signage for Eagles Landing.
okay.
Right now, it looks like McDonald's is for sale. And do we need to upgrade our incentives for residential construction we have a lot of lots sitting there, and is there something we can do? We already have an incentive program in place, tax abatement, but we ought to consider something more.
I don't know what we can. Right now, we're at the legal limit for the state because we allow the 75,000. And we did increase that for over 5, there's no longer the tiers. Now it's just the straight 5 years that they get that. But we haven't really did any advertising.
No, so it may be a matter of marketing,
Yeah,
but we need to do
right.
more.
They say there's several people in our community, plus builders
Yeah.
and developers that say, all we need to do is build a high school, and the
Yeah.
people will come.
I had one thing. A resident in my ward recently had an emergency medical situation occur. And they wanted me to express their profound thanks to not only our emergency personnel, the ambulance people, everybody who responded, but also the police department, and in particular Chief Dean. This could have been a very, very sad outcome. It did not end up that way because everybody moved quickly, and they are extremely appreciative of our personnel in town and wanted that stated publicly.
Anything else, council? Okay. We will be moving to go into closed session right now. Like I said earlier, this could take 15 to 20 minutes. If you would like to come back, we will, I don't know, we'll motion with the lights or something that we're going back into open session. It's always a little bit complicated.
We'll step out or wave or see if
Yeah.
anybody's in the parking lot.
So if anybody is out there, we will be here and let you know that we're resuming the meeting. But thank you all for coming.
They could actually have a fire out there, I suppose. At this point in time.
Gotta stay warm somehow.
Recreational.
But don't do it by the cardboard.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Your mic.
As of 7:22, welcome back. We have come back from closed session, our executive session, to consider upcoming city unit negotiations. At this time, I will take a motion for council to consider the wage increase effective January 1st at 8% for the Public Works IBW contract.
So moved.
And just for clarification, there is one employee who is not a public
Yeah,
works employer.
then I said IBW.
Okay, so that would also include them. Okay. And I'm sorry, Adam.
So moved, yes.
I'll second it.
I'm going to do a roll call on this.
Weir,
Yes.
Smock,
Yes.
Clements,
Yes.
DeWater.
Yes.
And Morris.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. I will take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I heard Smock and Weir.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?